Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video we are doing the final book haul of 2020. So this year has been so amazing for new releases and I've acquired a lot of books but also gotten rid of a lot of books. So I will leave a link somewhere to my biggest unhaul of 2020, which was like hundreds of books because I was moving. So not only have I gotten rid of a lot of books, but I have started acquiring more books to kind of not make up for those, but you know, replace where there was space on my shelves there. This is the last book haul of 2020. A mixture of these have been kindly gifted to me from publishers, and a few of these I actually ended up buying before the UK went into a national lockdown in November. So I've kind of been accumulating these books for 2 months, maybe 3 months. So I'm trying not to do as many book hauls on my channel and instead kind of store them up for a longer kind of book haul video like this, where I can really show you what I've been acquiring over a season. So without any further ado, let's get cracking on the books that I've acquired towards the end of this year. The first book was kindly gifted to me from Hotkey Books, and it is How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. So this is part of the Folk of the Air series, and it is set after the events of Queen of Nothing in that series. So this is basically a lovely collection of basically little vignettes of Cardan's past and how he was told all these stories from this kind of troll woman. And it kind of really helped him with his kind of moral compass, I guess. And this whole book is just celebrating storytelling. And not only that, but it is done in a beautiful, beautiful way. So each of the stories are just gorgeously illustrated, as you can see. And honestly, it's just the most beautiful book. I actually read this really recently and I will leave a link to my reading vlog where I talk all about this book. I loved it so much and I just found it funny, magical, poetic and just very unique in that way that only Holly Black can write in. Like, you're just immediately in the world. And even though this was very short but sweet, I adored it. And if you're a big fan of Holly Black's Folk of the Air series, I would really recommend this for an added bit of Jude and Cardan. So the next proof was kindly gifted to me from Bloomsbury. And this is a publishing exclusive proof. And I don't know if you can see this. Like, I'm trying to get it to catch the light, but it says leave publishing now. This looks terrifying. It is a thriller. It is called The Other Black Girl, and this is by Zakiya Delilah Harris. This is out in summer 2021, and this is going to be their biggest release of 2021. So this book is about basically a young black girl who starts at a big kind of New York publishing house, and then she notices that another black girl has started at the same publishing house. She then starts receiving these very threatening notes on her desk saying, leave now. And this book is all about what if there can only be room for one black person in a publishing house. So this is inspired by the author's own experiences of working in a publishing house and seeing another black woman in the bathrooms and basically being like, oh, like really surprised to see her there because publishing is such a white dominated space. And then she was surprised at her own surprise and she questioned why she should be surprised at seeing another black girl in that space. And basically she turned that into this incredible thriller. I haven't read this yet, but I expect really, really big things, and the hype for this has just already been amazing. So thank you very kindly to Bloomsbury for sending me this one. I love a publishing thriller, and I think this is going to be a really crucial, important, but also thrilling read. So the next book is something that's so up my street, I just need to read this now. It is Malice by Heather Wallace. This book is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty with an LGBT twist. This is basically where the princess falls in love with the villain. And I am very, very excited about this because this sounds like all the kind of elements I love in a fantasy novel. And honestly, turning it on its head like that is really unique. And this is crossover, so I think it's supposed to be a little bit on the darker side, but this sounds so amazing. This was kindly gifted to me from Del Rey, so thank you for sending a proof over my way. and it is published on the 13th of April 2021. So I'll be sure to read this and I will let you guys know my thoughts. The next book I picked up when the UK was about to go into national lockdown in November, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna need books to read, and I didn't read it, funnily enough, but it is Dolly Alderton's Ghosts. So this is the first book from Dolly Alderton, who is a journalist, and basically this book is all about being ghosted. This is basically a story about a girl in her early 30s. She's a very successful food writer, and like her career and stuff is kind of taken off, going to plan. But the one thing that isn't really taking off is her love life, and she feels like she needs to kind of get into a relationship and start kind of progressing her life in that sense. And this is basically about the mishaps of dating in your 30s. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I love Dolly's writing style in general. Her other book, Everything I Know About Love, is one of my favourite non-fiction books of all time. I think the way that she analyses relationships is very unique and like kind of heartbreakingly to the point where like you really, really feel it. And I have heard really good things about this book. So I think for her first fiction book, I'm expecting very big things. I hope they're met. I will let you guys know what I think of this in hopefully a wrap up or a book review. So the next book I also bought on that kind of lockdown book shopping spree, and this is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Can you believe I have never owned this book before now? I can't either. But basically, this is like the epitome of dark academia, like that kind of aesthetic that's been going around Instagram and YouTube and everything. This book has inspired a lot of that kind of aesthetic. This book basically takes place in an academic setting at university, and there is kind of a secret, I think there's like a secret club or something, and basically it just turns dark. Like, dark academia is all about an academic setting that is turning dark, or there is some kind of like a cult or something like that. So I'm really, really excited to read The Secret History. I think I've heard only amazing things, and I've not read any Donna Tartt, so this will be my first Donna Tartt, which I'm really looking forward to actually. Let me know if you've read this book and if you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully be reading it in the next few weeks. So the next book is Sister Song by Lucy Holland. So Sister Song has been on my kind of like radar for a while now, and I recently got sent this gorgeous proof from Pan Macmillan. This is basically a retelling of a Roman folk ballad, and it basically compares it to Circe by Madeline Miller. So it says, if you enjoyed that, you will enjoy this. This is publishing on the 15th of April in 2021, and basically follows the three children of a king who inherit a war-torn land that is currently being abandoned by the Romans. So on the back it says, a classic tale with modern sensibilities, this retelling of an ancient British folk ballad will tug at the heartstrings and stir the imagination. And I'm very, very looking forward to this. I personally loved Circe, and I love a historical retelling, or like a retelling of myth or anything like that. So up my street. So I'm so buzzing about Sister Song. I think the proof itself looks just stunning. And I'm hoping that for this to be like really feminist and really epic. So I will let you guys know my thoughts. The next book is one that has been kindly gifted to me from Michael Joseph. And this is The Push by Ashley Audrain. This is a motherhood thriller. This comes out on the 7th of January, and this is, I believe, one of their biggest thrillers coming out from Michael Joseph in 2021. So this book is inspired by the author's own experiences of raising two young children, and this book, I believe, is about the kind of traits that you inherit and pass down to your children. So it could be good or bad, and I think this is going to be very, very menacing and very, very dark. I've heard really good things about it. So thank you to Michael Joseph for sending this one my way. And also in 2021, I really want to read more thrillers. So I've got quite a good selection here. I'm very, very excited. And finally, the final book in this book haul was kindly gifted to me from Vintage Books. And it is Cant Even by Anne Helen Petersen. So I first heard Anne Helen Petersen on a podcast, I believe, talking about burnout. And this book is exactly what it is. It says how millennials became the burnout generation. And I'm really, really intrigued by like burnout as a concept anyway, because I feel like we've all felt it, especially in 2020. Like, it's been a bit of a hot mess of a year. But I'm really intrigued to learn more about burnout and how a lot of the times it's not about us personally and like what's happening to us personally. It's often how society is built and basically fuels our burnout. So this book says in the blurb, are you tired, stressed, or trying your best, but somehow still not doing enough? Has the bottom half of your to-do list been locked in place for months? Is everything becoming work as your job seeps into your evenings, you monetize your hobbies, and perform your leisure time on social media? Can relate. So this basically identifies burnout and tells you the steps that you can do to change that and understand it in greater detail. So I believe this book is already out, and I'll leave links to all the books mentioned down in the description bar, but I'm keen to read more non-fiction, honestly, in 2021, and this sounds like a perfect place to start. So guys, that is it for my last book haul of 2020. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, why not give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos in 2021. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.